Welcome to our deep dive into the cynical genius illusion. You know that feeling, right? Like the world is going to hell in a handbasket, everything's rigged and no one can be trusted. Yeah, we're digging into that today. But more importantly, we're going to talk about why this way of thinking, this easy cynicism, isn't actually all that smart. Because here's the thing, cynicism might feel intellectually superior, but it's actually a trap. It stops us from seeing the good, from taking action, from believing in something bigger than ourselves. So, buckle up because we're about to dismantle this illusion brick by cynical brick. Have you ever noticed how cynicism seems to be spreading like a virus? It's in our news feeds, our conversations, even our jokes. And you know, a little skepticism is healthy, but when it becomes our default setting, it starts to eat away at something crucial: trust. Trust is the bedrock of any functioning society. It allows us to collaborate, to innovate, to believe in something beyond our immediate self-interest. But cynicism chips away at this foundation, making us suspicious of everyone and everything. Think about it. When we constantly assume the worst in people, we hesitate to help a stranger, to engage in meaningful dialogue, to believe in the possibility of positive change. We become isolated not just physically, but emotionally and intellectually. This lack of trust can manifest in our communities, our institutions, even our personal relationships. We see rising polarization, political gridlock, and a general sense of disillusionment. But what if this cynicism isn't actually making us smarter or more discerning? What if it's actually blinding us to the good in the world and preventing us from creating a better future? There are people working tirelessly to make a difference. Communities coming together to support each other, and countless acts of kindness happening every single day. But to see them, we need to shift our perspective. When we choose hope, when we choose trust, we create the possibility for a brighter future. Meet Anna. She's sharp, witty, and has a healthy dose of skepticism for everything.
I pride myself on seeing the world for what it is. No rose-colored glasses here.
She scoffs at motivational quotes, rolls her eyes at grand gestures of kindness, convinced they're all just ploys for attention or self-interest. Now meet Henry. He's an optimist, someone who genuinely believes in the good in people.
I'm not naive. I see the problems, the injustices, the complexities of the world, but I choose to focus on the potential, on the power of collective action, on the belief that we can create a better future together.
Anna might call him naive, but Henry's outlook has a ripple effect. His belief in others inspires them to rise to the occasion. He builds bridges where Anna erects walls. He sees opportunities where Anna sees only obstacles. Now, who do you think is more likely to build meaningful connections, to inspire change, to actually make the world a better place? Anna, for all her wit and intelligence, often finds herself feeling isolated. Her cynicism acts as a barrier, keeping people at arm's length. Henry, on the other hand, is surrounded by a community of like-minded individuals. He approaches the world with open arms and an open heart, and as a result, he attracts people who share his values and his vision for a better future. This isn't to say that optimism is always easy, but it's in these moments that choosing hope becomes an act of rebellion, a defiant act of faith in ourselves and in humanity. Chapter 3. Let's talk about this idea of the cynical genius illusion. It's this pervasive notion that if you're cynical, you're somehow smarter, more insightful, more in tune with the real world.
We see it everywhere. The cynical detective who always solves the case, the sarcastic comedian who cuts through the BS, the cool kid in school who acts like they're too good for everything.
But here's the thing, cynicism is easy. It's easy to point out flaws, to criticize, to tear things down. It requires far less vulnerability, far less emotional investment to be a cynic.
True intelligence lies in recognizing the complexity of the world, in holding space for both the good and the bad, the light and the darkness. It's about seeing the world as it is, without letting it extinguish your hope for what it could be.
Think about the people who have truly changed the world. Were they cynics, or were they driven by a deep-seated belief in the power of humanity to overcome even the most daunting challenges?
Martin Luther King Jr. didn't look at the segregated South and say, well, that's just the way it is. He dared to dream of a better future, a future where his children wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Malala Yousafzai didn't look at the Taliban's oppression of women and say, "There's no point in fighting." She risked her life to advocate for education and equality because she believed in a world where every girl had the opportunity to reach her full potential.
These individuals weren't blinded by naive optimism. They saw the world's flaws, the injustices, the immense challenges ahead, but they also saw the potential for change.
True intelligence lies in embracing both the beauty and the brokenness of the world, in holding on to hope even in the face of adversity. Chapter 4. Look, it's not just you. We're bombarded with messages that reinforce this cynical worldview.
Our movies and TV shows often celebrate the anti-hero, the lone wolf who trusts no one and plays by their own rules. Think about your favorite TV show. How many times have you seen the cynical detective crack a knowing smirk, their pessimism somehow validating their intelligence?
Or the sarcastic best friend who makes light of everything, their cynicism disguised as humor.
Social media often amplifies this negativity. Algorithms prioritize content that evokes strong emotions, and let's face it, outrage and indignation get more clicks than hope and inspiration.
We're trapped in echo chambers, surrounded by people who reinforce our existing beliefs, whether they're accurate or not. We see the curated highlight reels of others' lives and compare them to our own messy, imperfect realities.
This constant exposure to negativity can have a profound impact on our mental well-being. Studies have shown that exposure to negative news can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even symptoms of depression.
But it's not just about our individual mental health. This culture of cynicism has a corrosive effect on our society as a whole.
When we're constantly bombarded with messages of fear, division, and distrust, it becomes harder to believe in the possibility of a better future.
This is why it's so important to be mindful of the media we consume. It's not about burying our heads in the sand and ignoring the world's problems. It's about being selective, about seeking out sources of information that are both accurate and constructive.
We're creating a world where hope is not a naive dream, but a powerful force for change.
Chapter 5. So how do we escape this cynicism trap? How do we cultivate a more hopeful and trusting outlook without becoming naive or out of touch with reality?
It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your thought patterns. When you catch yourself making cynical assumptions, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it based on evidence, or am I letting my negativity bias my perception?
Then make a conscious effort to seek out the good. Look for examples of kindness, compassion, and generosity in your everyday life.
Celebrate the small victories, the acts of courage, the moments of human connection that remind us of the beauty that still exists in the world.
Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Connect with individuals who share your values and who are working towards creating a better future.
Because hope is contagious, and when we surround ourselves with it, we're more likely to embody it in our own lives.
Remember that choosing hope doesn't mean ignoring the world's problems. It's about recognizing that we have the power to create change, to make a difference, to build a better future.
It's about believing in ourselves, in each other, and in the possibility of a brighter tomorrow.
It's about understanding that cynicism might seem like the easy way out, but it's a dead end. It leads to apathy, to inaction, to a world where we accept things as they are instead of fighting for what they could be. Thank you for watching. Let's work together to break free from the cynical genius illusion and build a more hopeful future. Remember, cynicism might seem smart, but it's a trap. It's a dead end that leads to apathy and inaction. Hope, on the other hand, is a muscle. It's something we have to cultivate, to practice, to choose every single day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content.